Hello everybody, my name is the PC Game Player 55, and today we are doing a review of the different ships and the different factions in the game Space Engineers that I have. So, the first faction I'm going to start with is the Anti-Hero League. So give me a second to spawn in one of their ships. I'll be back in like a second or two. This shouldn't take too long, my friends. Alright, we are back. So, as you see, the current ship on the screen should look familiar to some of you. If you all don't know what it is, this is the Colony Lost rover to keep. And of course, as you can see, it has been heavily modified, as these forward gun turrets same on the atmospheric version. Both of these ships have the same amount of guns, except for the gun on the aft section. These are Italian anti-missile. The one in the back here is Italian flak. We also have Italian anti-fighters. We have a single OKICWIS. Both of these, they both have the 300. They both have the X3 battle. Not the X3. The battleship cannon Mark III. But that one doesn't have Italian flak on the end of it. And of course, both of them still have the hangers on the back. This one is just a little bit more different. I don't know why this one isn't cooperating. It probably has different doors, but oh well. So here's the main hangar. We go up through this door here. We can go up here. We can open up this. And the one thing that you may notice is, why is this rotary airlock here? Reason being is because this section here, that room, and the rooms all the way down to all the way to this door here can be pressurized. Although I do not know why that is. But no matter what I do, the rest of the ship it just refuses to pressurize. It absolutely refuses to pressurize on me. I don't know why, but honestly, I'm not complaining. Ship works. So the lore with the Anti-Hero League Flying Fortress is it's a rover turned into a mobile fortress. It has fighters guarding it. It can dock different things inside of it. The ramp that was back here was changed out for the airlock doors due to the fact that these guys wanted more defense on the vessel instead of a door that actually swung down on a rotor. Because these guys do not like rotors. To an extent, neither do I, but I have adapted it since then. But the Anti-Hero League Flying Fortress is the pinnacle of a ground operational and space operational mobile base, except for the dreadnought that they have. But this ship is meant to go around and direct the mining operations or fleet actions if the main dreadnought cannot do that. Hence why it's called a Flying Fortress, due to it being a mobile command center. Time to remove those. And I will be back in a moment, fellas. Just give me like 30 seconds to spawn in the next ship. Sorry about that, fellas. Welcome back. So, here we have the Anti-Hero League starbase. Now, one thing that you may have noticed is that it's not much. The reason being is because due to the potato of a computer that I'm on right now. I can't go much bigger. Because if I did that, then I'd have a lot of problems. But aside from that, the Anti-Hero League base is equipped with H2O2 generators, oxygen tanks, hydrogen tanks, no, not oxygen tanks, I don't have oxygen tanks. But it has these H2O2 generators, these large cargo containers, the hydrogen tanks, valve repair system, and an ore detector for detecting nearby ores and multiple docking spots. It also has a reactor below, along with several refineries, and an antenna so that their allies can find it. But this base is basically, it's not much. It's just something that I scratched together over time. Not really proud of it, but hey, what can you do, right? And so that's the Anti-Hero League base done. Next ship coming up is... I'm actually going to review two at once, because reasons. Going to be back in like a moment or two. And we're back. Oh, did I say I would review two? I lied. So, this is the Anti-Hero League Drone Squadron. We have a tow drone, miner, a grinder, and a welder. And we also have a combat drone. I will go over each of these one by one, starting with these two here. The welder and the grinder drones are basically to go in and either fix or grind something down. And all of these are atmosphere-based, so they do not work in space. Now, there is this thing here, which is the miner drone. It's meant to go out and mine ores for a short duration, come back, drop it off, and then go back out and mine some more, etc., etc. Tow drone, that's basically to lift heavy objects and take it back to base for either fixing or decommission, one of the two. Gun drone is basically just your standard everyday combat drone with four Gatling guns. That's basically the drones for you. And of course, these could be easily mass-produced since they're actually really, really cheap. Well, except for that one and these two here. So three of these aren't that. Three of these are expensive, the welder, the grinder, and the tow. But the miner and the gun drones, they are completely cheap. They are really, really, really cheap. But now, I will be reviewing another ship here in like 30 seconds, so give me about a minute or two. Alright, and we are back. Here we have the Anti-Hero League fighters. This here is the defense fighter. As you can tell, it is meant for defense. And shooting things that get way too close. This is to go out and start blasting things with its missile launchers, which has two sets of three of them, as you can tell. This one is a lot more maneuverable due to the amount of thrust that I put on it. I added in a couple of more large ones for stopping and other things. This one is just completely and utterly stock. This one, however, is not. Well, actually, no, both of these are in stock. They have both been modified a little bit. This one here, with these bits on the front, that is to cover more stuff. This one has just been given a lot more engines. But that's the attack and defense craft for the Anti-Hero League that are going to be deployed from their carrier. Speaking of carrier, why don't I just spawn that in for y'all real quick. Give me a moment. And there she is. What a beauty, ain't she? She is the Anti-Hero League Quasar class carrier. Now, these button panels here and here. Let's open up that door. And then let us open up that door. And now let's take these fighters as shown here. Oh, watch this. Since I'm being creative, I don't waste ammo, so ha ha ha. Whew. All them explosions. Alright, so here are the carrier's hangar doors. Or at least the carrier's hangars. And of course I haven't tested this yet, so I don't know if these actually fit or not. But we shall see today. A little bit more forward. It fits perfectly. Now the other one shall fit as well. Because they're both the same design, except the other one has larger engines than this one does. It has a lot more engines than this one does. Yeah, you. Just let me dock these here. Now I'll go about showing everybody the Quasar carrier. Now, and of course these button panels on the inside, I also close the doors. And of course this leads to a middle section that also leads up there, and I will get to that in a moment. Just watch the hangar doors close real quick. God, they look like the blast doors from Halo. Love it. So yeah, the hangars are identical. Well, everything of this ship is identical to the other side, since this ship actually has mirror mode on, so it doesn't matter what door we go through here. On both sides, there are at least 2 reactors and a couple of conveyors and reactors for 2 sets of jump drives, so there's at least 4. If we go all the way down here, we have the shield generator, we have the command bridge. But that's basically it for the Quasar. And I know I'm supposed to be talking about lore for these ships, because I said I would do that at the point, but I'd rather just get through all of these and show you what is what. Now, let's just remove the Quasar. And also those, because we don't need them. Anywho. So that is the Quasar carrier. And I will be right back in a moment to show you another vessel. And welcome back. So today I have a treat for you. Over on this side, oh, you should remember that big beauty. The Cardassian Galler class cruiser. And on the other side, we have the ever so beautiful Covenant CSS class battle cruiser. And of course, both of these have been taken from their respective empires and adapted into the Anti-Hero League through their adaptive nature. They take ships from different universes and adapt them into their own, which is why the Quasar carrier and the Keep have been augmented into the faction as, well, you know. Anywho, so the Gala class is basically just a standard Gala class. It has everything that you need in it. Jump drives, hydrogen tanks, a lot of engines concealed on the inside and whatnot. So that's basically the Gala class. The bridge is nice, the ship is overall awesome. The outermost wings, by these are what I'm standing on inside of both of them, they are filled with decoy blocks. You don't believe me? Let's go on the spectator. Yeah, as you can see, under the paneled bits here, there of decoy blocks. Lots and lots of decoy blocks. It's the same thing on this side as well. Decoy blocks. Anywho. So, yeah, the Gala class is equipped with the standard loadout that the anti-hero league use. Okay, eye guns, Tellians, shields. The interior turrets kind of came with the ship, but I'm not complaining. They work for anti-personnel stuff. So that's the Gala class. Now, the CSS class battlecruiser, it's just basically your normal everyday battlecruiser. Tons of engines, tons of guns. It has 2 coil cannons and 2 X3 battleship weapons. Has this down here where nothing can really fit except for smaller ships with landing gears on the bottom. So it can deploy vessels, but not a whole lot. It has a lot of lighting. Oh, and the also famous glancing beam has been replaced with 9 of these missile launchers. So that's that. But this thing is actually one hell of a ship. I like it. It works. It's amazing. And I'm actually glad that I found it. So that's that one done. Now, we have, like, almost little to no ship remaining for the Anti-Hero League. But I will show y'all a couple more. Actually, I'm going to do all of the small craft in one go because it's just easier to get them out of the way now rather than later. Be back in like a moment. Alright, welcome back. Did you guys hear something? Strange. Anyhow, so here's all of these ships here. I'm gonna start with this one. So y'all should recognize this vessel. If not, then you are sad. I will speak to you. Anyway, so this is the Anti-Hero League troop transport. It's basically just a transport vessel that transports their ground forces. And of course, since their ground forces are kind of robots in a way, I don't know. Anti-Hero Leaguer. Did you guys hear that again? Hold on. Are you guys hearing that? That thudding. Are you guys hearing that? Let's just take a moment and listen. See if it happens again. Yeah, it's probably nothing. Yeah, it's probably nothing. Anywho, as I was saying earlier, this thing is meant to transport troops, and it also has a connector. It has a merge block on the back here to merge different things to it. So that's a troop transport done. Now, you have 3 mining vessels here. I'm going to start with this one right here, the Anti-Hero League miner, the actual miner for the Anti-Hero League, aside from the smaller one next to it. This thing is actually meant to go out and mine ores for a longer period of time. It has hydrogen tanks on it. I think it may have one or two large cargo containers, I don't remember. But the ship is meant to go out, mine ores. It has a beacon, an ore detector, has 2 batteries. It also has some large engines on the side here. But back before the edit to this thing was actually made, this thing was a mess. Until me and a friend actually got to it and actually fixed it a little bit. So that's the Anti-Hero League miner. The mini miner here is meant to actually stay near home base and mine stuff like stone and actually any nearby resource that it can get to within a short span. That's basically it for that one. Now, this is the miner wall. And it is also known as the Asteroid Annihilator. Let me show you one thing that I like about this thing that I done with it. Let me get into a good position here. I made all the lights purple. I just thought I'd show you all that. But that's basically it for this vessel. That's all it is. It just goes in, carves away an asteroid, makes the area a little bit more it makes the area a lot more better for deploying their main base. And it also makes it very, very helpful when they actually also need, if they can't deploy any more of their bases, they also bring in ships that have more resources so that they can actually start building it. And aside from the drones, they do not have a welder or a grinder vessel. I'm gonna be making one of those. I'm gonna be making both of those here soon. But that's it for that vessel. Here is the Anti-Hero League Scout. It's basically a scouting vessel that is designed to go in and survey and then get out of there as quick as it can if it gets spotted because of the engines that it has. It's just the scouting vessel. Now this here is the Anti-Hero League tow vessel. It was a atmosphere vessel until I gave it the a tune-up. I just basically took all of the atmospheric off and put ion in. That's it for that small craft. And finally, we were actually done with their small craft vessels. Give me a minute and I will spawn in a couple of more ships. Be back in a moment. And we are back. So, here are the final 3 Anti-Hero League vessels. I am going to start with the big boss man's vessel. That big and right there. So, for those of you who are familiar with Star Trek, you should all know what the giant mad black ship is. This was the Anti-Hero League Vengeance Dreadnought. And as they like to call it, the big black command ship. This vessel ain't that bad. The armament spots aren't that impressive. We got 2 in the holes right there. We got 1 there. We got 2 of them next to the deflector dish. Nothing on top, nothing on bottom. This ship is not made for combat. Honestly, this ship is just made for looks, if I were to say so myself. But the ship actually ain't that bad. She flies well. She's very maneuverable, and she can jump far distances with the jump drive, with the amount of jump drive that it has. And it also can carry in a lot more vessels than the Quasar can. Gotta love the Dreadnoughts, right? So that's it for the Vengeance. And of course that one actually had its blueprints mysteriously stolen from Section 31 without their knowledge, because the Anti-Hero League are pretty much good on infiltrating. Now, to start with this one. This here is the Battle Breaker. This fine tipped line right here is meant to ram ships and split them in half. That and to do massive damage. And of course, all of this up front is made out of heavy armor. The inside isn't as impressive, but hey, I can't compartmentalize anything worth a diddly. And of course, its shields are off. Why are its shields off? There we go. Now its shields are on. And then this here is the Anti-Hero League Destroyer. And it's just called Destroyer because it's actually a Destroyer class vessel. This ship is meant to go in, do massive damage, and then get out of there without making itself that much of a hittable target due to how fast it moves with the vast amount of reverse engines that it has, which are covered and well protected. It is also a mix of hydrogen and ion, same with that one over there. So it's meant to go in space and work in atmosphere. And of course the Battle Breaker and the Destroyer are actually of my own designs. Same with the drones, and most of the other ships that I showed you, except for the Quasar, the Galler, the Vengeance, and the CSS class battlecruiser. All of those are not my designs, nor is the dropship. That one is also not my design. But props to the creators for making those vessels. They are amazing and they work really, really well. Lots of good design and time went into building those vessels. But this is all for this, video for today. If you guys want to see more, just let me know in the comment section below. There will be a part 2 of this video of me showing the different ships that I have. I just wanted to do this one first because this is the first part of this, and this is the Anti-Hero League stuff. The next one will be shown of the Legend Team's fleet, which will be a lot more vast and advanced. And it has a lot more ships than the Anti-Hero League, since they rather stay small and condensed and mass-produce more and more ships, while the Anti-Hero League actually have more multiple ships than the other guys do. But until then, this is the PC Game Player, and remember, as always, have fun and game on. And I am out. See y'all in the next video.